How do you go from software development to becoming a sought-after edutainer, speaker, and the king of testing? Well, sit down, grab a drink, and get comfy as we go live from ng-conf 2022 for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look into how Shai Reznik from hirez.io achieved all these accomplishments and more. Shai opens up with some intimate stories and a bit of Israeli rap about his developer journey and how, not unlike everyone else, he's had to face barriers like imposter syndrome, perfectionism, panic attacks, and yes, even bugs. Don't just code to live, come enjoy the dev life.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Nichol, Angular GDE and all-around Angular lover, and I'm here to talk about Kendo UI for Angular. It's a UI library designed and built specifically for Angular. It includes over 100 professional UI components that are fully accessible, easily integrate into existing design systems, and, of course, backed by our legendary technical support team. The UI components range from things like data grid and scheduler to form elements, date pickers, and drop-downs, all within one library. See the full list and demos at kendoui.com.
Hello, Angular community. I'm Jeff Cross, the CEO of Narwhal. We're proud to partner with the Angular Experience podcast to highlight the people who are doing great things in the Angular community. Narwhal has been a leader in the Angular community since Victor Safkin and I left the Angular team at Google to start the company back in 2016. Now we're joined by other leaders in the Angular community, including open source maintainers and Angular GDEs. We're also the proud creators and maintainers of the popular build framework NX. We work alongside Angular development teams to help them solve big organizational and architectural challenges, and to help their engineers develop a deeper understanding of Angular and NX in the process. If Narwhal can help your team move faster and level up, reach out at nrwl.io.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dev Life podcast, formerly the Angular Experience podcast. I'm Erik, and here at ng-conf, up in actually the hotel room of Shai Reznik here in Salt Lake City. With me is my co-producer, Brooke.
Hello, everybody.
And the king of testing, King Shai Reznik himself.
Nice to meet you. Sorry for my sore throat. I've been speaking all 3 days, so I'm kind of and not sleeping a lot. So
1 hour of sleep, you said, right?
Yeah, tonight I had 1 hour and I had to MC the entire day. But yeah, I'm kind of used to it with ng-conf. Yeah. Usually my experience in ng-conf is not sleeping because of my talk, and somehow surviving and managing like conversation and still like trying to keep the sharp mind, not to sleep and not to forget where my room is and all that stuff.
Well, what's the time difference between here and Israel anyway?
So now it's 6:30 p.m. in Utah, and at home it's 3:30 a.m.
So are you jet lagged, or do you feel like you adjust pretty well?
I'm not sure at this point because when you don't sleep at all,
right?
So what is a jet lag?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
What year is it again?
Yeah, exactly.
What day is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna keep doing that.
Okay.
Well, we're having so much fun here at ng-conf, where Shai is a co-host and also gave us a fantastic talk called Test-Driven Development, right? Since we're here at ng-conf, the world's largest conference for Angular developers, we thought it would be great to talk about how to deal with the various and unique pressures of being a developer, something Shai has especially experienced as a popular speaker at tech events around the world. Wow. That's fun to say, actually.
Yeah.
But for as much as we want to get into the topic, we're also eager to discuss a question with Shai for this week's roundup. Now, he only had 1 hour of sleep, so this answer might be even more funny than usual. No pressure. For those of you who are newer listeners to our show, you might not have heard of the roundup. This is a game that we haven't played in a little while. It's simply just a fun way for us to get to know Shai better as a person outside of your technical expertise and your conference dwelling at this point. And all we do is pose a question, and then each of us takes a turn and we answer the question individually, and we joke around and have fun. And we'll do that for just a few minutes, and then we'll get up into our interview.
Cool.
All right. Do you want us to do the honors, Brooke?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So Shai, obviously, like we've just said, we just wrapped up ng-conf 2022, but it's always fun, I think, just to kind of reflect back and ask what was a highlight for you, be that a talk or maybe just a special moment that you had with, connecting with someone. Is there something that stands out to you?
So I kept thinking about it during the conference, that because this was a long-awaited in-person conference after
Right.
COVID, and before COVID, I missed 2019,
Okay.
but I was here in 2018 and 2017, and the best ng-conf experience that I had was the first one that I was in, which was 2015.
Wow.
It was in the Little America. It
Okay.
was 700 people. Dave and Aaron emceed it. The atmosphere was super fun and lighthearted and funny. They're super hilarious. And I remember like sitting in the audience and being in awe like of
Right.
how witty they are and how like organic they were as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is Dave Geddes, by the way.
Dave Geddes, yeah.
Okay.
So, and the talks themselves were also super interesting and fun. Like there was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
And over the years, like since then, it was, in terms of like the fun factor, has been on a decline, or got reduced with each year, because I think there were like, I don't know, maybe pressure from certain, I don't know, places to keep it more stricter and less like
Yeah.
loose.
Okay.
And it affected the way that the feeling, at least for me as a speaker and an attendee, like the feeling that I had back in 2015.
Right.
So this year I felt like it was like back like in the old days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was fun. You could see it also in the talks themselves.
Yeah.
Where people who usually in the past did more serious talks, gave more serious talks, added more humor,
Right.
added more like
I saw that too.
creativity to their talks, which made me so happy to see.
Yeah.
So a couple of notable lectures that I really loved. Craig Spence, always a creative speaker, always super genius. One of my good friends gave an amazing talk. Mike Ryan, right, with the NGRX component store and the drawings.
Yeah, those were great.
And Mike also, I told him that in person, he's always brought it like with super professional talks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he was always very professional and more like stricter. Like he didn't like let it. He has a great sense of humor, or didn't see him letting it loose.
Yeah, it was very strict to what he was talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this year, I saw like, okay, he's been more loose and more like
more comfortable.
Yeah, more comfortable and more, and taking a chance and making it fun and professional. So that also made me happy. And Manfred, is there also like let's see it in scale by increasing the font size and all the type of jokes. So and the atmosphere with attendees on the halls, speaking with people. Usually as a speaker, I was so stressed on my talk, so I kept like past years like completely focused and walking the hallways, not looking to the sides, just like going to my room, walking on the talk, going back, maybe here and there, like asking the production something, going back. But this time I actually took the time to look at people and to say hello.
Nice.
And to give high fives and and compared to last year's, which I kind of tried to do the same, but people were more reserved.
Yeah, more shy.
Yeah, more like me.
Oh yeah.
So this year there were like all smiley faces and high fives and like cracking jokes and light and still keeping it friendly and not like crossing any lines or all that stuff.
Yeah.
And great. So all this is like not a particular moment, but in general, I feel the conference was super like back to the good old days of
Yep.
ng-conf, which I really, really appreciate and happy about.
See, that's the feeling I got too, was just more, this was actually one of the first times I can think that the conference didn't have an official big theme. You know, there wasn't like a big show of, I mean, they've done like space in the past. I can't even think of all of them, like
Yeah.
80s and all of
Yes.
this. And I think sometimes the talks and the community feeling would get lost to the theme. And I felt like without the theme, it went better, because like you're saying, I agree with it. Like it brought it back to that original kind of like OG, right? The OG feel of just having the community and it being focused on the talks, but the people. And that's what I got out of it, was just connecting with people. And something that was really, really sweet, I think, for Erik and myself to experience was meeting people that we've been basically like, you know, air quotes here, like e-meeting on Zoom and stuff as we've been running the Angular community meetup and the podcast. So we've been making all of these friends, though we've never met them in person. And just to have people come up to us and be talking to us and telling us some stories, and I don't know, just sharing some really sweet moments with them. I just thought that was, it was amazing. So I first of all, thank you to everybody who was coming and introducing yourselves to us. But
Yeah,
that was so special, I thought. So that was my highlight right there.
That was a good highlight, honestly. And I was going to say the same thing. I'm going to be a little more specific. There was somebody who really made my day. He gave me a little red horse magnet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this person, his name is Marcus, and he comes all the way from Sweden. And he heard our episode with Dan Wallin, and this, you know, Dan is, you know, Swedish.
No, this was with Carl
Oh, no, it was Carl. You're right.
Yeah, Carl Bergenheim.
But he did hear that we were Swedish, or I'm part Swedish, and he was like, "Well, I'm from Sweden. I'm gonna bring you the Swedish candy he was talking about." And so he brought the Swedish candy, like this, like super salty licorice, and this little red horse magnet. And when I was growing up, my mom went to Sweden and she brought back all these little like red horses.
Nice.
And she's like, "This is like a thing from Sweden." As a kid, I didn't understand. I was like, "Oh, cool. They like red horses there." But no, this is like a cultural thing. And so he gave me this red horse magnet, and I can't wait to go home, tell my mom, like, we're going to video call. And, "Hey, look, I met somebody from Sweden." Hey, who knows? Maybe he's even my cousin.
It is the one and only magnet on my fridge.
Really?
Yeah. Because
Wow.
it was that
It's got
special.
the honored place.
Yep, it does.
It's like a square. It's like the only magnet allowed on the fridge.
It's true. Yeah. So, yeah.
So that was really special to me. But man, the talks were fire. The energy was wow. You know, you had a help in that, Shai. Alyssa had a help in that. It was so much fun.
But even just the announcements they were making, that first keynote, you know, first thing right out of the start was just all these announcements of what's coming out with V15. And
that's part of what made it vintage as well, because in 2015, I remember there were like big announcements regarding Angular 2, and there were like all the things that later chopped up into the NG show to make fun of. Like, you know, we're removing, like, you know, it's not like a filter anymore, it's formatters, the pipes, and it's like, you know, all the stuff. But they had like the big announcement of adding TypeScript and merging AdScript into TypeScript, and that was a huge announcement, which basically made TypeScript popular.
Right.
So this type of keynote, like you said, that's the same feeling that I had, because I was watching that and thinking, wow, finally, after a couple of years of stagnation, of like, we're working on Ivy, we're almost done with Ivy. Like next year we're like, okay, now we have like 10% more Ivy to do, and then we'll be, and after Ivy, okay, we're now integrating Ivy into the project.
We're not deprecating what came before Ivy.
Right. So finally, and that's, you know, I spoke with the team for ng-conf, and I realized like how much work they did and they put into